Coming up on the Santana Moss Show, me and my man Travis is talking our favorite moments in the Redskins training camp.
And then, Tana, you know we're going to a more serious subject, something we don't do very often here, but we are talking about depression in football players.
Noah Spence, 9,000 calories intake a day. That's something that I must chime in on.
You know who's not getting those calories? People that play Fortnite all damn day and night.
Is it a new record? My son, Savion Moss, has taken 5 L's.
The Santana Moss Show podcast starts right now.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
Now I'm ready to go. Santana Moss Show podcast. Travis Thomas, Santana Moss. What's up, brother?
We in the building.
I would just like to make reference to this iced out chain that my partner in crime is wearing. Is this new or is this like has this been around and I've not seen it?
It was a birthday gift to myself.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a birthday gift to myself. It was a 2-part chain. It was 2 chains.
2 chains?
2 chains. And one of them, it was a nameplate, Tana Man, and then this.
Where's the Tana Man one?
I left it home. I don't like to put the
2
tag
chains.
on myself. I don't like to walk around with the big old Tana.
Very nice.
But yeah, it was a birthday gift, and I hadn't given myself a gift. I was one of those guys that every birthday was something big. It was either a Rollie or Breitling. I was a big wash guy, and so that was the other part to my birthday gift. I got myself a new truck. But yeah, the chain was something that I needed. I didn't need it. It was something I wanted to add to my collection. And so, I went out there and made it happen.
Lesson learned here, folks. Do not cheat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Okay, birthdays are very important.
Well,
Shout outs to the jeweler, too. He did a great job with that.
My man AJ.
AJ.
Down in Miami.
AJ and the MIAO. Hey, by the way, AJ, I'm going to come see you. Cubic zirconia for my budget. Hook a brother up.
And get what AJ going to tell you.
What?
See that price? And he gonna tap that thing in there with this Tanner price. He gonna take care of you. AJ, take care of my boy.
Yeah. You hear him, AJ. He watches the podcast. I know he does.
No doubt.
Tana, you and I both have been at camp for the Skins. We're in preseason now. Regular season's right around the corner doing push-ups. What have you seen so far from camp and obviously the preseason for this team? Expectations, any surprises, any letdowns from being out at camp?
Honestly, I'll sit here and be lying to you if I say I sat out there and watched every time I was out there.
Right.
I wasn't. I was, doing my part and making the fans happy. It's funny, man. It's crazy that every time I'm out there, it's like I'm still playing. These fans have the Redskin fans, I don't know. I only played 2 places, and I haven't been back to New York yet. And they have plenty of opportunities for me to come back, so maybe I will show up one day. But the Redskin fans have always showed me, unconditional love, and it's crazy now that I'm out there just socializing and conversing with them while camp is going on. It's just been tremendous, something that I never would have thought would still exist. But I have been hearing different storylines here and there about what's going on, and just some of the things that I've been following. All the players seem to be so enthused of what Alex Smith has been bringing.
Yeah.
Thus far, when it comes to his leadership. It's funny because I've been a guy as a receiver knowing that the quarterback position is so critical. It's one of those situations where that if you don't have a quarterback, then that's where your season is going. It's going to be not one of those seasons that you want, or you can't really make it in this league without a quarterback. And for the last few years, we've had a decent quarterback. I felt that we had something good going. Whether we can put all the games that we lost on Kirk or not, I don't think it's fair because you can't. I think he played exceptionally well. That's why he was due the money that he's got, and that's why he's went off and he's in Minnesota now. But one of the things I've always said that it's vital to have that leadership, that veteran mentality in that huddle.
Right.
It's second to none. And that's some of the things that a lot of these guys have been speaking on. You see Chris Thompson talking about it. You hear, Trent Williams talking about it. Every time you've asked a player about what's going on with the quarterback situation, the first thing they allude to is that, well, we know who we have at quarterback now. That's the one elephant in the room that they can put outside the room. And then second, they say, man, his leadership, how he's conduct his offense, how he conducts the huddle. That's something that's second to none. You have to have that to be a winner, for one, and to be able to, lead the guys that you're trying to lead. And that's to me, that's the best storyline I can hear, because now that's letting you know that part of the whole offense and that part of the team is taken care of.
Yeah, to me, man, being there, it just looked like a regular practice to me. What I gained the most knowledge from was talking to other people in the media that I trust and I built relationships with. And they all kind of had their own stories of the difference in personality of Alex Smith and Kirk Cousins. Kirk was happy-go-lucky, kind of knew everyone's name, would talk to you, equipment managers all the way to teammates. And Alex Smith, from what I'm hearing, is a lot more of an intense guy. Yeah. Quiet, stays to himself, doesn't talk much. Now, some of that could be because he's new, I guess, and Kirk was here for a long time. But I'm hearing Alex is really – not in a jerk way, but just all about football. Like, he is dialed in. He's not there to make friends and be buddy-buddy. He is dialed in.
Let's be honest, though. Now, we can take those storylines and those hits and be like, oh, this is going to be the best season ever because we have an Alex Smith. But don't allow that to set us up to feel like we have something special.
Sure.
And then he goes out there and he doesn't put up the kind of performance that we're looking for.
He's got a ball.
I understand that how they feel and what they feel. And yes, it's true, because you're always going to feel that way with something new. I feel that way about my new car.
Right.
I just told you about it, man. I was so excited to get one, and then I looked at how the gas is treating me. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got to spend so much on gas.
It's got to show and prove.
So at the end of the day, he still has to play the game.
Right.
He still has to learn those guys around him. He still has to learn that playbook. And until he goes out there and put up all the stuff that we're talking about now and display that on the field, then we can sit there and talk. How is that benefiting us? But right now, I think it's too premature to talk about the benefits of it, because right now he's just a new guy that's trying to win over everybody in the locker room and upstairs in those front offices. And, of course, we're going to have so much good to talk about.
So I want to keep it with football because we're on the heels now of the Hall of Fame inductions. You and I were talking off camera about Ray Lewis sweating through his coat, but his speech was
hey.
That brother was perspiring.
I went to church. That night.
He definitely preached Ray Lewis's speech. I thought Urlacher was good. I thought Moss was good. Brian Dawkins, though, I want to stop for a second because his speech was very powerful in that he shared a lot of personal moments that he went through, and he battled depression. At one point, he said he was suicidal during his playing days. And that has now, I guess, empowered some other players to come out. Steve Smith, the former Panther and Raven, has come out and said he's had his own depression issues throughout his NFL career. Do you feel like now players are more empowered to come out and talk about these things? Have you experienced any depression or suicidal thoughts or anything like that with teammates, any mental illness that you know of?
Well, honestly, I first want to say I commend both of those guys for just, having the courage to speak on it.
Right.
Some of those things are so sensitive and so, personal that, it's hard to allow the world to be in your life in that form. Yes, we allow them to see us play this game of football and, be able to say, man, we are great. And, Brian Dawkins, he's a Hall of Famer, and Steve Smith is climbing that ladder, should be someday soon. But
he's Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no doubt. So just for those guys to allow us into their life outside of the playing field, I think, that was big, because I truly believe that them opening up with the world and allowing us to know what some of the demons that they've faced, it's going to allow others who's not athletes and who's not, famous to be able to deal with their demons, to be able to go out and say, hey, I need help. They look at ball players and say we're so macho and we are heroes and warriors, and they just don't know that we do that between those white lines because we have to. That's our job. That's what pays the bills, for us to be violent, for us to go out there and attack, the ball the way we do as receivers and the opponent the way we do as defenders. But we deal with regular things that normal people deal with too every day. And Steve Smith, he alluded to it well, man. I read a story and then I just watched him on NFL Network, and he said, he was like, hey, just like, anybody else, we have things that's going on, and we able to escape at times and go out and play the game of football. And a lot of people don't have that escape room. They don't have that area where they can just leave whatever they're going through and be able to deal with it. And so I'm glad that those guys spoke out about it. I'm glad that, Brian Dawkins was able to get the help. I'm glad that Steve was able to get the help. Me, myself, personally, I've heard so many different stories about depression. Most of it has been post-career because some of the things that we deal with during our career. And I honestly can tell you that I was telling you my first year outside the game, I was hoping and praying that I don't have to deal with it. I was literally every night going to bed. I pray every night. And that's something that I've been doing from day one. And I will always pray that please don't take my mind nowhere that it needs to be. Let me stay focused on what I have. I've always been focused on, reaching, I reach for stuff that I don't even know is up there. I'm always climbing. I never want to settle. That's why I'm always on the go. People tell me to this day, man, you doing this, you're doing that. I can't sit still. I won't sit still, and that's one of the reasons why I love who I am and what I do and who I do it for. I have a lot that depend on me, and I want them to know that they secured. I want them to know that, look, don't worry about that because he going to go get it for you regardless of what it is. So I was one of those guys sitting around, please don't let my mind shift and do something. And so I think the fear of me knowing what other friends have dealt with and talked about, I was always saying, let me keep busy because I don't want to be that guy that maybe sitting still now is going to lead to me having a form of that or be introduced to that. And I don't know what those guys, how that, to me, that illness, happened with those guys. I heard it most from the guys who left the game. Right. Both of those guys said they was dealing with that during their playing years. So it's hard, man. And I tip my hat off to them for coming out and being up front with everybody. And I tell them to their face, if I was able to sit there and tell them, thank you, because there's people out there that's hurting from this. And I'm glad you was able to speak up because those folks that's looking up to you all, they're able to now probably go deal with that. They able to go seek that help and not feel that it's something to shy away from.
No question. And you spoke about the human element, and I think that's a big part of it. We watch these guys, they're almost superhuman in terms of athleticism. I mean, these are two Hall of Famers we're talking about. And you're right. I mean, I think people just forget they are humans at the end of the day. Superhuman is 9,000 calories a day, my friend. That is Lord. Tampa Bay Buccaneers Noah Spence has gained 35 pounds on a 9,000 calorie a day diet. Now, I'm looking at some of the stuff. Tana, for breakfast, he starts each day with 2 protein shakes. Yeah. I mean, this is incredible. He'll lunch 6 ounces of steak, 4 ounces of shrimp, 500 grams of potatoes. He goes peanut butter and jelly and a glass of chocolate almond milk for snacks, a couple more protein shakes before bedtime. Tana, this is insane. Have you ever – now, you played a position where you didn't really want to gain weight, I'm guessing, but I'm sure you had a lot of teammates that try to put on weight. What's some of the most extreme things you've seen?
Well, first of all, just reading about him trying to maintain a 9,000 calorie intake daily – I'm trying to stay within 2,000 and less.
That's a normal human being.
That's a normal, and that's a healthy, diet. But 9,000, I couldn't imagine it. I do recall being a Jet, and I remember my first year as a Jet, we had a guy that just came in before me, John Abraham. He had, was stated that he ran a 4.3, 4.4 40 at the DN position. That's flying to be a defensive end. No doubt. And if you watched him, if you watch his body type, everything, he was so fast but so lean, so straight up and down.
He's a good player.
And I remember John Lott, our scrim coach, and just me being a guy that observe everything, hear everything, take heed to everything that I hear. And I remember John Lott telling him, in order for you to be dominant at your position, because you're so fast off that end, you have to beef up. You have to get a little bigger so you can be able to deal with some of those tackles, because these tackles in the league are some of the best, and these guys are 300 plus. This guy John Abraham was probably 220, if that. He was small, but he was a beast at his position. And I remember him beefing up one year and had a lights out year. And I don't know how big he got, but you can see the difference in just he passed the eye contest. You know, you can look at him and say, yeah, he's a DN now. He's a guy, he fits the position. His body fits the position. And I remember John Lott telling him, I remember those training days when we was out in the off season and we was putting in those work, doing our plyos and doing our sprints across that damn artificial turf. I remember those mornings and John talking to him, and I'm just sitting there observing, just listening, you know, chiming in, because he had talks with me also. But I remember watching that season and seeing him evolve into the player that they wanted him to be, because he was able to take on that pounding and because he had gained so much weight. So I'm not sure if this guy, Noah, is trying to do the same thing.
Maybe.
I recalled him coming in 2016, having the season that he had. He had some injuries, 2 shoulder injuries, and I remember John dealing with something similar like that. Yeah. So I think when you're so athletic and you're not, you don't have that weight on you, coaches, they want to beef you up enough so you can be able to play that position, to be able to take in some of those hits, some of that beef that you're going to endure throughout the year. Right. And the season is long. The season is so long, and you have to deal with those guys week in and week out. You name it. You have to, put the hitting on some of those guys, and some of the time you're getting hurt from the guys you're out there hitting. Not necessarily the guys who are hitting you. So the 9,000 calorie part is out of this. I've never heard nothing like that ever. But if it's something that's going to benefit and help him, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm going to watch and play close attention to Noah this year, just to see if him gaining all his weight is going to really help him be the player that he wants to be. As long as he can be explosive and play the position that he came in playing at a high level,
he's got to be.
Then I think it works.
That's the key.
But it has to help you in that way. You have to beef up that way to know that I can still carry this and I can go out and be the player that they want me to be.
I mean, there's been guys who've been successful at that position who are not big beefy guys. Yep. You mentioned John. I remember Javon Curse was lean. Simeon Rice was lean. Jason Taylor, a guy we were talking about earlier,
real lean.
He was lean. I mean, I don't think you have to be the biggest guy on it. Ryan Kerrigan right now looks super lean. So the explosiveness is the key there. You're right about that.
Most guys in this league today, what we're trying to do is be, leaner. Everyone is cutting their diet. Everyone is making sure that, man, hey, I'm in the best shape that I can get in, that I can run.
Right.
This game is more about finessing than it is to be out there pounding guys. I was watching this the other day. They was talking to my man from Denver, 58,
Von Miller.
Von, and I think so highly of him. He remind me of Derek Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Thomas, a Florida guy, Miami guy, and I remember him, how special he was to this game. And they asked him about the helmet stuff, and he said, man, I'm not a banger. I'm a finesser. I'm a sniper. I get in there. He said, I understand this game. I understand we have to keep these quarterbacks healthy. I understand. He said, I'm out there going after that ball. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. So this game is starting to go to that path of guys respecting what's trying to be done. You know what I mean?
The business.
If you watch the business side of it, you watch it in Pro Bowls all the time.
You're right.
The Pro Bowlers say, hey, man, I'm out here to put a show on, and I'm out here to protect my brother so we can get into this offseason and enjoy it. So I believe football is heading down that path. And you don't necessarily have to hurt guys, man, to go out there and get the job done. Just make the play. Make the play and do it in a fashion where you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting others. And I think if you can have a nice size on you that you can be efficient and doing it, then you should be able to do it. I mean, if gaining weight for this kid, Noah, is going to help him out, then I'm all for it. But as long as he's still explosive, he can handle that weight and be able to not be exhausted out there. Because I remember being big, and I was overweight at the time. I was exhausted out there.
You were getting hurt, too, I remember you said.
But I think that was – I got hurt way earlier before I gained the weight. I had some stuff I was dealing with personally, off the field that – put me into a state to where I ate everything. I was, like Pac said, like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. And no offense to Larry, but at the time,
right.
I was dealing with it, and I played at a high level, but I was exhausted. So just knowing what the path I went on when I gained so much weight, I was clueless to where I was gaining. But if you look at pictures to this day, I'm like, erase that picture.
Exit, yeah.
I can't erase it. It's there because I was that size. And as long as he can carry it and play well, then I'm all for it.
Bro, so here's the thing. We look at Tana now.
Yeah.
He looks like Mr. Universe. Can you just talk about a typical cheat day for you while we're talking about all these damn calories, please?
Cheat days now, don't even talk about a cheat day with me. Oh man, cheat. I literally watch the Food Channel at times when I'm getting ready to cheat. Like, I'm going to eat it all. I'm going to eat everything I see. Cheat days with me, like, no, honestly, like right now, and I don't have a cheat day. I say cheat day, it's a cheat meal. Honestly, it's a meal. It's a meal. Fair. So I give myself a cheat meal, and it's normally early in the day because I want to make sure that I'm back on track by sunfall, and I want to be able to say now I'm back to eating the less carbs and more protein. But a cheat meal for me would be I will get a Pisano's pizza. Woo! Pepperoni and sausage. I probably won't eat nothing but floor slices. The only reason why, because I have chicken tenders on the side with that. And, if you're putting in that chicken, I'm eating the whole 4 tenders or 5, whatever they come with, 6 tenders. I'm eating all 6 of those tenders.
All 6 is getting dealt with.
But 4 slices of that pizza will go down. And the other 4 I would leave for my son, because I would always leave him 4 because he's going to eat 4 by himself. And he probably eat 2 now and then comes back and eat like a gerbil and eat 2 later that night. But and then on top of that, I have cravings. So, I'm an ice cream guy. I love ice cream. I would go to Cold Stone and down some French vanilla ice cream with some Oreos chopped up in it. And it's like, bro, it's a coma meal. I tell myself every time, I'm finna put myself in a coma. I'm going to feel real good when I go under. And when I come back, I'm going to feel cheated. That's why I call it the cheat meal. I'm going to feel like I just cheated, and I'm not going to feel comfortable enough to live with myself. So I'm going to immediately get outside and get on my bike and ride some of that off. And it's like defeating the purpose. It's a cheat meal for a reason. It's something that I should be able to partake in without feeling that way, but I do because I think the lifestyle I take on now is more of wanting to be healthy, wanting to put the proper things in me, just knowing what it can do for you.
Right.
And I mean, trust me, if I was, we talk about L's, and we're probably going to get into that later on in this show, but I feel that I took a lot of L's in my playing years when it came to my diet, because if I knew the things I know now, if I knew them then, man, the level I played on and not being who I am now, I'm 180-something pounds at 39, and I recall myself being 190 and feeling great, So just think if I could have maintained my college weight. I came out at 180. If I could have maintained that, throughout my playing years and the level I played on, it's no telling what I could have done. So I just appreciate learning. I appreciate the process of learning things, and I play with diets now. Like all my friends know. I text we have a group chat, me and my cousins, my brothers, and my close friends, and I throw stuff at them like, hey, try this, try this, try that, try this. I talk to nutritionists just to see the different things that I can put in with what I'm doing, because it's the lifestyle. It's something that I now consider my football. It's something that I get up for. I get up to work out and to be fit, to be in shape. So I love it, and it's something that it motivates me to be able to maintain, and that's why I enjoy those days when I can really, let it all hang out.
As you mentioned Paisano's pizza, I just couldn't help but to think that it's not just pizza. It's something for everyone.
Something for everyone.
What you want. By the way, now feels like the right time, Tana, to just say that this show is a wonderful podcast, and we are looking for sponsorships. So anyone interested, including you, Paisanos, please give us your patronage.
That part.
Hey, all right, so Tana, I want to go to taking L's, right? But I want to kind of combine it with the story I'm looking at. So parents are now hiring Fortnite coaches for their children. Now, I feel like I sort of get why, because I think a lot of these gamers are getting money these days from esports and things of that nature. So I feel like there's no difference of a parent putting their kid in a sports camp to get better at a sport, hoping for eventually a scholarship to college or whatever. Your thoughts on the parents hiring coaches for Fortnite, and then please transition that into the L's that you gave your son.
Well, first of all, if parents are going out and finding coaches to teach these kids how to be better in Fortnite, I feel cheated already, because my mom and dad never paid for anyone to teach me how to beat Mario Brothers. I mean, I remember those nights of playing Mario and trying to get the King Koopa, to get the princess, and it was some long nights, but it never was a night like my son experiences now. My kids, my son, my daughters, they be up 6 o'clock in the morning. I was just in Miami, and I recall getting up, and I'm going to the restroom, and I hear, and then I hear a giggle. So I'm like, who the hell is up this time of morning? What's going on? And I peek out the room, and in the hallway, we have our little, area where they on the computer, and I see my 9-year-olds sitting there playing Fortnite. Mm. And before I got the chance to even say anything, I kind of just like, they didn't even know I saw them. I just looked at them. I'm like, it's 6 o'clock. It's already done. Whatever's done is done. So I went back to sleep. I woke up the next morning. My morning normally start around 7, 8 o'clock. And I'm like, look at them. Now they passed out in their rooms. They didn't get up till after almost, that evening. And then I told their mom, like, look, take whatever it is you got to take from them. So my son the next day, he thought he was going to pull another, one of those 6 o'clock, all day things. He done woke up at 6, so I'm going to go to sleep at 6 a.m. His mom went in there and took the game system, the computer, the iPad, the damn Nintendo Switch. He has so many different outlets that he can play Fortnite on. So these parents I tip my hat off to these parents that's going out their way to do this, because I understand now it's the day and age that everyone's paying to make sure their kid is elite at it, whatever it is. Right. We was just elite at going outside and scratching up our knees and our elbows.
Actually playing sports.
Exactly. So now these days, parents are saying, hey, I would pay top dollar to make sure my kid have a chance of a scholarship. I don't know if you get scholarships playing Fortnite, but if they do, I might have to sign my kids up, because they sure enough been trying to sneak in some long hours. And if they can be that long and be out there participating in this Fortnite, then they should be able to do that same thing with their studies. So Savion took some L's, and he know he'd probably take a lot more if he tried to pull one of them all-nighters again.
Bro, I think this could be a record for L's on this show. That's 4. You said the gaming system, the iPad,
Nintendo Switch, the iPad,
and the phone,
the computer, and the phone.
That's 5 L's. Lord have mercy.
And he's still sitting there wondering why everything's been taken from him at night. Poor kid. Don't worry, Savvy. We love you.
Do you think kids nowadays even know who King Koopa is?
Man, you know what's so funny about the situation? They do, because Mario is never
still around.
He's never died. He's like you bring a new system in and Mario is there. Him and the princess and Luigi and everybody
all of
else.
them still. Yoshi.
He finds a way to put himself in some kind of game system. But it's crazy that what we experienced at our years ago. Because I remember those summers, bro.
Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
I remember those summers being up all night. But you gave yourself, man, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock was great.
No doubt.
These kids are up the next morning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then can't do nothing the next day because they're so exhausted.
Matter of fact, I remember video games was kind of like a prize at the end of the night.
No doubt.
If you did,
everything,
you played outside,
yes.
you did your chores, you did all that, you weren't a pain in the ass, then they'd let you play games for a couple hours.
Video games now are to be expected.
It's like a lifestyle.
It's like I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, wash my face, rest again.
And then I'm gaming.
And you're like, hold on, did you eat lunch today? No, I wasn't hungry. Because you have the game in front of your face. Did you eat dinner? Yeah, I'm going to eat in a minute. It's serious. Like, I remember just this past weekend, all my kids ate at 12 midnight. And I'm like,
damn.
Y'all eat? We ate 4 or 5 hours ago. Oh, I was upstairs.
Fortnite,
man. Fortnite, what's up? Give me something.
That's the other.
Let me hold on.
I feel like my dad would try to play Tecmo Bowl or Mario. Or I remember him trying to play Sonic the Hedgehog. I ain't playing Fortnite. It doesn't even look like something that
I heard the conversation alone from my nephew. My nephew was over too.
On the headphones?
And he was like, man, this guy, he's awesome. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He hasn't been beaten. And he's like, what I would do to kill him one time on Fortnite. And I sit there and like, so who is this dude that they talking about that's supposed to be so bad that he's socially
never lost
everywhere right now? Everyone knows about him on every network, And I'm like, man, this is crazy, because I asked my son, I was like, so what is Fortnite? What is it about? He's like, man, it's everyone in the world just playing the game. Like, I think it's 100 or 1,000 people out there at one time, but they could be from anywhere. It could be you and me playing, and kids in Iowa somewhere, and they don't like, man, who is Tough Stuff and who is 6? You know what I'm saying?
Who's 8 to the 9?
Yeah, and who is this guy they trying to win? And it's one guy, he's probably played everybody, and
their ass.
He's beating everyone. And so my nephew was talking about it, and my son was like, yeah, he's dope. And I'm like, man, you guys are off the chain with this Fortnite stuff.
Fortnite.
But you can't be mad at him, man.
Kids, put down the Fortnite and pick up a book.
Where?
Expand your mind, baby. Expand your brain and listen and watch the Santana Moss Show podcast, because we lit. That's what the kids say.
Litty.
We litty. It's Gucci. Spotify, YouTube. We're on everything, Tana. We're on everything. Apple Podcasts. Get at us. Subscribe, listen, like, share. Do it. Santana Moss Show podcast. It's a Rizzo.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89. Hustle all the time. Travis on the right. Hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical thing.